Welcome for the lesson today. We're going to talk about Kubernetes with Google Cloud Platform connecting to Cloud SQL. So first thing you're going to do is going to our SQL. You're going to pin it. I'm going to pin also the Kubernetes Engine. I'm going to pin container registry. Okay, so first thing we're going to create our SQL database. So we go create instance. I'm gonna call my instance as MySQL container. So it's gonna be my instance ID. You're gonna define a root password. So you can, okay, for other configurations, I'm gonna put the connectivity. I'm gonna put the private IP. I'm gonna enable this API. I could do from API libraries. I could do this the same. Gonna allocate and connect. This is gonna be useful for the next lab, which I'm going to use a socket. So I'm going to allocate it. Once it's done, I can create it. In OI, I'm gonna be creating my image. So first thing we're gonna do, we're going to download the Cloud SQL proxy for connecting to the SQL via Kubernetes. So this is the command we're gonna launch. We're gonna download this from Google, the Cloud SQL proxy. So we're going to download it. Okay, now we're going to enable to execute the command. So how we do it, G8 mode, very simple. Enable it. Now we have to create a proxy user using gcloud im service account command create. If you're not familiar with that, you have to start the IAM identity access management resource of Google. So we have to create it's created. To double check, I can just get into my list. Okay, now we have a proxy user. You can double check on the resource service accounts. So now what we have to do, we have to add these service account to the role of SQL client. So how we do that, they're gonna show you the command. It's pretty simple. So just clear again. So gcloud projects and I am policy binding the project TD dash dash member, our proxy service account, the role is Cloud SQL. Okay, just it. Now what we have to do, we have to get our proxy user and we are going to create a key file with that using the gcloud im service account command. Clear it again. Here we go using the proxy user. Okay, at last you see the JSON is there. Here we go, just for double check. Oh, it's not ready yet for the creation of the database. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create our Docker image. How we do that? We are going to go to get a project. We're going to clone this project here on shell. We're going to clone my, oh, sorry. We're going to clone my product, which I don't use cloud repository. So here's my project, just cloning it. Let's go in deep there. Well, we have a deployment file that we use for Kubernetes, an install file that I use for secrets, for creating secrets, and the Docker file. So it's pretty simple. After I show the Docker file is created, it basically has to create my image. So let's create a tag. So docker build dot dash t gcr.io If I don't put any prefix before the CR, it goes to USA. Otherwise, I could put Asia dot Euro U for Europe, whatever, slash project DD slash my application. Once I defined my application as I call it Elastic app, which I use also on the deployment Yamo. So here we're going to create our image. We can create a database. Let's go and create also. So let's create the image. Oh, okay, got it. So it's creating our database, and now we're creating the image. We don't have to, you cannot waste time. So the next step is gonna be to create cluster, etc. So basically explain a little bit more about the service account. It's just an account that belongs to your application is instead of an individual end user. That proxy user belongs to the application, it's not a user. You can enable service account and grant read-write access to the account on the instance where you plan to run your application. So let's just wait the image being created, also our database being created. Once it's created, you're gonna see here a public IP address and the private IP, which we're going to use for a socket. I mean, it's this next lab using Cloud Run. Now I'm going to share the deployment YAML. So the kind of deployment, here is our label of our application. We have our container, which I edited already, the proxy instance, the secrets, where I get from the Kubernetes secrets, a config map, and a service create a load balancer. Basically that. So now I'm gonna share also the Docker file. Extremely simple. Maven, JDK, and creating a Spring Boot application. Okay, finalizing our image. So what we have to do now, once it's created, we have to push our image to our repository, to the GCR. So let's go in here, Docker image. Now we gotta push this Elastic app image, tag latest to our GCR, Docker pull. Very simple. You may wonder why I'm not using gcloud Docker. Now we're going to push the image to the repository. Very, very easy. Once it's done, you're gonna see the image over here. Just did. Let's double check. Container registry, images. LS step, an ID and the tag. Great. Let's be back to the SQL. Once it's done, we have to enable the proxy to connect on this instance here. We are at a private ID, public IP addresses, and now I am going to create a user. It's still running the engine. What we need is this instance connection name. users. I cannot create a user account yet. We have, sorry, but we have to wait the database being created. I wouldn't like to have the video without this creation of database to make sure we have all the steps. We start everything from scratch. That one is gonna finish in minutes. So next step, we're going to use the Cloud SQL proxy using the key JSON file, enabling the instance of DB to be accessed by another app using the key JSON file, which matches with the Kubernetes secrets credential. Okay, oh, it's just created. First thing I'm gonna do here, gonna show this command, Cloud SQL proxy. We have our instance, that's this instance here. TCP, the port, MySQL port, default, the key JSON file. Okay, so ready for connections. You know what? I'm going to create a user, create a user account. I'm gonna call it James. I define a password. Allow any host IP. Okay, the James is just created. Go to overview. Okay, everything we need. You can connect in using this shell here also to double check the database. So now we're back to Kubernetes. We're not going to create a cluster from here. We're going to execute a command, which I prefer much more. Okay. Let's go into the application. What we have here. Now we have to install the secrets. So G8 mode. Now we have to create our cluster. We're going to call it gateway, whatever. Once the cluster is created, I'm going to start with the Kubernetes commands. Take some minutes to take some minutes. Let's just wait. Um, some things are already done. Then take some minutes. Okay, just done. It already gives us these configurations, also the IP, etc. What we have to do now, we have to get credentials on this gateway. So we are gonna run this command. Oh, wait, selected things there shouldn't. So we're just going to run this command. Gcloud container clusters get credentials, the name of our cluster and the zone. So here you are able to run the Kubernetes command. kubectl, for example, gets secrets. We have one secret. What we have to do now, we have to install secrets. I will create this shell file. So just create a secret for our user and for the proxy using the key.json file. So if I get secrets now, we have those secrets. If you want to see the secret, you can use get secret. Let's specify, for example, our user credentials dash o IML format. Here you have it. Now what I have to do, we have to deploy our application. So kube apply dash f deployment Yamo. So okay, this is created. So let's see what we have. Get pods. Now you're going to get our deployment. Elastic app. And now we get our service, or you can just abbreviate SVC. Once it is done, you're gonna see an external IP address here. Workloads. Okay, service ingress. You can see this icon is a load balancer. Here we go. Refresh. Once it's done, you're gonna see an IP address. Just have to wait a little bit. Well, to work with this, you have to be a little bit patient. Let's see if we had that. Here we go. Looks like the commands are always faster then. So what we're gonna do now, we're going to check if our application is running. Swagger is just REST API is deployed. Let's leave it there for running. What we're gonna do now, we are going to scale. Here we have. In this case, I'm using Spring.rs with a very easy framework to use with the Spring Boot and JPI. Spring Data, basically. So now let's scale using this deployment. Kube, we have just 5 pods. Oh, sorry. CTL, I want to scale. Deployment. Elastic app dash replicas. How many replicas you guys want? 10. Scale it. So let's see how many pods we have. 10 pods right now. If we're going here and refresh, we have 10 pods. This is how simple it is. You can use this technology. Google is pretty intuitive. Now we have SQL, Kubernetes, and container registry. I wonder, I wonder you like the lab, and this is the end of the lab. If you have any question, please comment on the video. I'm gonna leave my GitHub on that, on the description of the video. Have a great day. Bye bye.